Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I'm a valuation expert witness and divorce mediator in St. Louis, Missouri. I have the privilege to interview Randy Kessler today, who is a high-profile divorce attorney in Atlanta, Georgia, for over 30 years. He's a founding partner of KS Family Law, a 30-person family law firm in Atlanta. He represents entertainers and athletes. He's wrote Divorce, Protect Yourself, Your Kids, and Your Future. He is the former chair of the family law section of the American Bar Association. He is a professor at Emory Law School, and he is the founder of Starsona, which provides personal videos from stars to their fans. Randy, we are so lucky to have you here, and we're going to be talking about virtual court, divorce mediation, and valuation during COVID-19 pandemic. What do you see the future for virtual trials or online mediation? Do you think it continues? Do you think everybody's just waiting to get back to court? What do you think?
I think the older lawyers are dying to get back to court. It's where they feel comfortable. It's where we've been, happiest in our career, where we are actually litigating and doing what we need to do, and we've tried to settle the case. But I think in-person court is at most in family law going to be a 50-50 proposition. I think criminal trials, they need you need to have your right to confront the other side in person and confront the accusing witnesses. I think criminal trials are going to be back to in person sooner than anything else. Big business dollar cases are probably going to have to be in person. There's so much at stake. But in family law, there's that tension between I want it over, but I want it to be fair. And I hate to say it, but I see oftentimes it's wanting it over is much more important than wanting to be fair. And I'll tell you, Melissa, I've represented folks that have given away too much money or accepted too little, and they're happier than the other side. And the other side is still unhappy and appealing it and arguing because they didn't want the relationship to end, or they didn't feel like they got to say their piece. So family law is a weird thing. And I think that if you can offer a path to resolution that moves it along and is easily explained to the client, and I think people are getting older, right? The people that are growing up nowadays are used to technology. They're used to doing things virtually. They're used to learning how to install a light bulb by looking at YouTube instead of reading a do-it-yourself book. So people are used to this visual technology. I think it's here to stay. My prediction would be half of all final trials in family law in the future are going to be virtual. And I don't think there's going to be any problem with that. And I think judges are going to feel it's more efficient. And if we say, Judge, today can be virtual day, you can stay home and do it from home, why wouldn't they, right? If they can do it. Although there's some judges that want to get out of their home, like there's some people that want to get out of their home. But, all things being equal, I don't see any possibility that we go back to 100% everything is in person in the courtroom. Think of the money the taxpayers save. Less security guards, less problems at the courthouse, less repairs to the elevators, less, toilet paper needed in the bathroom of our public facilities. I mean, there's just so many reasons to not go back to in person that makes sense.
And the interesting part is that it's actually kind of converted not to how we all know trial is and how we do it best to preserve my reputation and your reputation, but it's actually going back to what, we will keep things that are more beneficial to the clients. And a lot of this efficiency is more beneficial to the clients. And the reality is that we're also just not sitting around wasting our time. But one thing that I wonder is, are we going to have a huge uptick in appeals? So are we going to have people that are saying, I wasn't adequately represented, or that expert stunk and her camera went out all the time and, it was horrible? Do you think that that's going to happen? Or
I think they're going to be more forgiving. I think the appellate court's going to be very forgiving. There are things you have to learn on the fly. I mean, justice is not a black and white issue. It's not easy to describe. It's sort of, like Justice, Stewart said years ago about pornography in his famous Supreme Court ruling. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. This was justice. This was fair. The judge gave everyone a chance to figure out how to get their evidence in. And you know what? If you couldn't figure out how to use Zoom, and you said, well, I don't want to show this document, but here's what I do. I hold it up to the screen.
Yeah.
It works.
And I think you just have to have like your kid with your kids. Like I would take a piece of paper and put like one big number, like it's $5 million, it's not like you have to be super creative, but you do have to figure out how to convey information in this type of world. And so it's going to be way more about communication than just sitting back and like, okay, I show up to a courthouse and I do my job and I leave. It's like, how do I communicate this through the screen, basically, and get them a little scared?
And it's what people pay us for, right? You know, you go to law school and you learn how to be a lawyer, and they pay you to be a lawyer, but they pay you to present their case and to do it in a good way, make sure the judge is receptive. And we're learning, and you know, we're going to be good at it, and we better be good at it, because we should tell the client, log on 15 minutes ahead of time. Tell the client, change, if you're on a Zoom call with the court, it shouldn't say Galaxy whatever or iPhone 12 or Mia's iPhone 12. It should say your full name. You know, for me, I put Randy Kessler, attorney for the father, or attorney for, and I put the person's name. So the judge doesn't have to guess and say, oh, Ms. Kessler, you're representing the father. Let me ask you this. Make it easy for the judge. Make sure the judge can find your client. If there are multiple cases, your client better have their name on it. Little things that we learn by experience. Just like in the old days, we learned, tell your client to get to court 30 minutes early. Absolutely. Because they will not understand the parking deck or the security line. They won't anticipate that. These are things that we learn. We don't learn them in law school. We learn them by doing, and that's what people are paying us for. And we better get it right. And we're getting some leniency now because it's a unique period. But I think in a year or two, judges are going to say, "You're a lawyer. You're charging $600 or $700 an hour, and your internet's not working. You don't have a backup plan. You don't have a hotspot. You don't have, you know, 2 cell phones ready to go just in case, you know, one break. You know, you better be ready for people that are paying you that much money to handle their case."
Yeah. And even document exchange, because when we have done these online depositions, sometimes we give it to the attorneys up front, you know, beforehand. Sometimes we want to just show them as we're in the deposition, but I have to have it ready to be sent. Like, I literally have it pulled up with the zip file or the share file link so that they could just download the documents in case something happens. Like, you have to say, okay, what's plan B, C, and D? And have them be ready at a moment's notice.